Good morning, everybody. It's Mike with the Claim Squad Public Adjusters, and today we're going to be going over the best and worst home insurance policies in 2022. All right, policies, not companies. So we're going to get into that. Let me get this shrink down a bit, and let's go through everything. So this is in Florida in 2022, updated. Let me put this, make sure 2022. All right. Now, something to be aware of. We're having some type of crisis created by insurance companies and people trying to get insurance policies coming into the state. People that are into the state not being able to get policies. And so it's been a little bit of a bear. And with that in mind, let's take a look at what the key is. The zip code is the key right here. All right, zip code. This is the key to everything. So when you're calling for a policy, or I'll get people call me, Mike, what's an insurance company I can do? I live in this town. There's nothing you could really do because some companies may not write your policy in your specific zip code. Okay? So this is very, very important. Companies may not write in your zip code. You want to at least call 4 agents all around the state, not just in your local area. Some agents work specifically with specific insurance companies. You want the preface to your agent, extremely important. No water damage exclusion or limits of $10,000. Now, if you're finding out these agents are pressuring you, or there's no other insurance company that will write you because of the age of your house unless you have a water damage limit or exclusion. Now this is new. It's just started happening over the last few years. You want to call or email the Office of Insurance Regulation and complain to them. They're the ones when insurance companies want to add on some restrictive or limited policy language. OIR has to approve it. So people, we need to complain to them. And or you also want to complain to the Department of Financial Services. People have no idea how catastrophic water damage can be. People have no idea until they have a pipe break how costly it could be. $10,000, and I'm going to get into this. If you have a limited water damage, limited mold, right? And a high deductible, your policy for hurricanes, your policy is basically worthless except for fire. So then you've got to think, wait a minute, should I only have a fire policy? And you have that. Now whether or not your mortgage company is okay with that, I don't know. You have to check with them, okay? But one thing to look at, there's something called a DP1. DP1. If you are renting a home and you have a tenant, a DP1 will drastically reduce the cost of your premiums. As an example, I got a quote for one of my houses for about $10,000. I did a DP1 because it's renting out, and that cost dramatically shifted to $2,800. Why would I get a DP1? It covers you for wind, it covers you for fire, all the major perils, all the major losses, all right? Covers you for. It doesn't include personal property. It doesn't include maybe loss of use coverage. The percentage of people that use those in a claim is very, very small. So I know what's being used for. Since these companies want to give me a $10,000 water damage limit, I'm just going to go self-insured for water damage. I'm not going to pay $7,000 for water damage on a yearly basis. So just something to think about. Now let's talk about some of the worst companies. As you guys probably would imagine, Citizens Property and Casualty leads the pack. Number one. Not only are their policies horrible, the company's horrible. It's a state-run company. Let me point out some things about Citizens. Worst insurance company in Florida. They have water damage limits of $10,000. They deny pretty much all roof claims not related to a hurricane. They force homeowners into lawsuits. They don't care about lawsuits. It is not their money. The state of Florida subsidizes Citizens, the revenues, what they spend, the expenses. Citizens is not cheap as far as a policy. So my question is, where's all this money going to? They need to be audited and regulated. Here, any legal cost is irrelevant. They don't care about legal costs. They would rather make you suffer for 2 years than to pay you. All right? The other thing is this program right here. Managed Repair Program, if you can see that, MRP. You don't have a choice to use any contractor you want if you have a water damage limit or water damage claim. You're forced to use their contractor. So let's take a look at some others. People's Trust, this is basically Citizens Light. They're same as Citizens. You have to use their contractors. There's $10,000 water damage limit. Second worst company behind Citizens. Security First, another bad company. Most policies, they have a $10,000 water damage limit. Some of their policies, they have a right to repair. They have limitations on other portions of the policy. The roofs, floors, etc. American Integrity, okay? Same thing, water damage limits. They're now doing roof age depreciation table. And they have other limitations such as flooring on their policies. Then you have various other carriers. New guy on the block is this company called Kin. All right. Kin is essentially, right here, they just started writing policies 2 years ago. Just this year, I've had 2 different people call me for claims. These were water damage claims involving pipe breaks or cast iron pipes. Took a look at the policy, horrible. There's nothing we can do for them. They also have a right to repair in their policy. They also have $10,000 water damage limits. These companies, be very, very careful with. Velocity, Geovera. Anybody not based in the state of Florida is considered a surplus carrier. They do not have to abide by Florida laws and regulations for most things involving claim handling. And look at this. Very restrictive and limitations on their policies, and people have no idea. Your agents are actually selling you this. Listen, agents are an arm of the insurance companies. People are like, well, I'm going to call my agent for help. That's the worst thing you could do. That's the worst thing you could do. As I mentioned in some of my other videos, we are suing agents because they are leading people down the path, a bad path, of having restrictive and limited policies. They don't care about you. So, now, maybe that's not all, but that's 90% of them. I haven't found anybody yet that has really been truthful, open, and honest and told people, hey, you've got this water damage limit, or hey, this policy is restrictive, but there's nothing we can do. So you got to be careful with that. Here's a few others that try to sneak in water damage limitations on policies. Heritage, Tower Hill, FedNat, Florida Family, Southern Fidelity. And you know what? There was another one I was thinking about earlier, but I forgot to write them down. So let's take a look at some of the best policies. No limitations or restrictions. All right? These policies have no limitations and restrictions for the most part. However, some are not insuring you if your roof is older than 8 years old. I kid you not. You can have a concrete roof tile with a life expectancy of 30 years, and if it's older than 8, Progressive is not insuring you. So here are some of the best policies that have no restrictions. Okay, again, let me remind you, these are not the best companies, the best policies. Allstate, otherwise known as Castle Key in Florida. Progressive, State Farm, Homeowners Choice, and Tip Tap, which is basically the same. Ooh, what happened? All right. UPC, however, they are absolutely horrible with claims. Universal, absolutely horrible with claims. Most of your claims will get denied with these two. And Florida Penn, although Florida Penn does now have some $10,000 water damage limitations, $10,000. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. So, key takeaway. I would rather have a company that writes no limitation policies, no restrictions, but handles claims bad, than to have a good company who handles claims good, but are restrictive or have limited coverage. All right, this is a very important point, the most important point of this presentation. I would rather have a company that has no limitations on their policy, meaning if you have water damage of $100,000, they will cover it for $100,000. If you have a fire for $100,000, they cover it. The one thing that they will all have a limitation on is mold, but of $10,000, but you might be able to increase that. So I would rather have a bad company with a good policy than have a good company with a bad policy. Why? Because if they don't pay your claim, but you have a good policy and you're not restricted, okay, you can always go ahead and sue that insurance company. You can always sue them. You can't sue them if you have a restricted policy. So my name's Mike. If you have any questions on a claim, need help with a claim, here's how you can get a hold of me. Cell phone, email, website. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.